Hello, my name is Marcel Zay, former admissions advisor and recruitment coordinator for various institutions of higher learning, now turned college coach. Over my 5-year career, I saw many of my college-bound students and their families struggling to both easily and confidently navigate the college search and application process. So I created this podcast as a tool to help guide high school seniors through the college application process. It's important to me for every college-bound student to be more informed of the college application process, since this could be a life-changing experience. There are many topics to cover in the upcoming episodes, but today I will focus on just a few basic things as it relates to college admissions. In this episode, I'll discuss 3 things to know about college admissions, questions to ask yourself as you move through the college search process, and lastly, questions to ask along the way as you evaluate a college or a university. Are you ready? Let's get started. What are colleges looking for? I think the biggest misconception that most high school seniors have about college admission is that colleges are only looking to offer admission to a specific kind of applicant. That's equally true and false. Typically, the main goal of an academic institution is to educate students. In order to educate students, they need to fill seats, and I think it's safe to assume that most institutions want to fill as many seats as possible. Remember, at the end of the day, colleges are also businesses. So in order for them to meet their goals of educating, institutions have to create enrollment limits. Universities will consider things like funding within colleges or departments. They'll also consider being able to provide equal access to resources and to faculty. There are many other factors to consider as well, but combined with using past data, colleges and universities can determine an average profile of an applicant that will more than likely be successful within the context of their institution. Successful in this context means graduating. So, all of that was simply to say, institutions are looking for academically competitive students that they determine will likely be successful if offered admission. The second of our 3 things to know is, it's all about fit. Now, fit is the piece of the college search puzzle I feel as though is not stressed quite enough. College is about fit. So I'd like to take a moment to share some of my experience as a student when I was going through the college application process. So I came from a background where I attended a private high school, so I was used to smaller classroom sizes and more one-on-one attention. So I knew my strengths and my interests academically, as well as my weaknesses. I knew what parts of the country I wanted to consider as I evaluated my college options. And a little bit more personally, I knew that growing up in Minnesota and attending a predominantly white high school, that attending a historically black college was fairly important to me. So there were many other factors as well, but I use my experience to illustrate how fit extends to way more than just academic course offerings. It means that in addition to the academics, do you feel as though a given institution is properly resourced to support you in achieving your educational, career, or personal goals? Going to college is not about how many of your friends are going to a particular school. It's not about the name of the school. And going to college is not about the athletics or really whatever other useless factors that you might hear classmates using to make their decisions. This leads us to the last but most important of our 3 things to know. You, the high school seniors of the world, are the most important piece to the college admission puzzle. Look, I understand how nerve-wracking this entire college admission process can be. I really get it, trust me. You know, you're researching the schools, you're applying for admission, finding financial aid, waiting to hear back about your application, and being bombarded with more emails and letters than ever before, all while trying to graduate high school. Trust me, I get it. But in the midst of all the frenzy, however, remember that nearly every person employed on a college campus is there to serve you in some capacity, whether that is directly or indirectly, whether that's an admissions rep, the professors, or even a maintenance worker. Remember what we said the primary function of an educational institution is? That's right, it's to educate and serve its students. This is one of the few, if not the only times in life for some of us when you are fully the center of attention. At the end of it all, remember that these esteemed institutions are trying to attract you to go to their school. So the sooner you understand and move within that context, the easier it becomes to deal with this entire process. Questions to ask yourself. While evaluating these different institutions and what they offer, it's also very important to ask yourself some questions as well. Who am I? Now, this can be a daunting question, but it doesn't need to take you down a rabbit hole of existential crisis. What Who Am I does is assist in narrowing down essay or short answer topics, or more importantly, assist you in figuring out how to differentiate yourself from other applicants. During my time reviewing applications, I'll be honest, after a while, many applications look the exact same, from the courses to the GPAs, but the ones where a student could better provide context into who they were often gave that extra push to allow them to go from possible admit to admitted student. Next question would be, what do I want or like to do? By no means do you need to know what you're going to do for the remainder of your life. Like I often said to my students with whom I worked, do you know how wild it is to ask an 18-year-old that question? Oftentimes, students find it easier to look at this question from the lens of, okay, I may not know what I want or like to do, but I know I'm not interested in this. This can be anything from mathematics, working in a fast-paced environment, so on and so forth. It's often easier to list things that we aren't interested in and then using that to guide us towards the things that we might actually enjoy. Last question, how am I going to get there? So whether you know exactly what you want to do or not, this question gets you thinking about life once you actually get to college, as well as life beyond graduation. How will I get there puts you in the mind frame of considering, what sort of financial aid may be needed, what sorts of experiences would be good for you to seek out, or what sorts of mentors or groups to be around. It puts you in the mindset of creating a roadmap to get you to your goals. How will I get there is to help you see the different paths available to you to reach your end goal, even if that end goal is ever changing. Questions to ask along the way. We can spend an entire day diving deep into the best questions to ask as you evaluate a college, but for today's purposes, I just wanted to highlight a few to illustrate the types of questions you should be asking. When I was an admissions counselor, I spent countless hours talking to prospective students, and oftentimes I would receive questions like, what majors do you all have? How much is tuition? So, can you tell me about your school? Quick side note, never ever ask an admissions rep this or any similar question. They absolutely hate it, and you'll get the most scripted answer possible. These sorts of questions are easily answered by doing a quick Google search, or better yet, going directly to an institution's website. Why waste time and energy focusing on questions that can be easily answered or that do not provide you with better insight into what being a student at a particular institution is actually like? Let's look at some questions that better allow you to evaluate an institution. Can I be connected to a current student from my area or within my anticipated major? What does academic support look like within my department, within my major, or within my specific college? Can I get a breakdown of costs after financial aid is factored in? Questions such as the ones I just provided allow you to get more perceptive answers about an institution, and as I said before, really allow you to see yourself as a student within a school. If you recall, earlier we went over how college is all about the fit. The topics we've just discussed all allow you to move through the college search and application process with a clearer understanding of you, your ambitions and goals, as well as your role within the process, so that way you can more confidently evaluate an institution in the context of fit. More than anything, what I want you to take away from this episode are lessons 2 and 3 from the 3 things to know about college admissions. As I just mentioned again a moment ago, remember that college is about fit, meaning as you reflect on yourself and are evaluating an institution, do you feel as though the institution is adequately equipped to get you to your goals? Lastly, always remember that you are the most important piece to the college puzzle. Be sure to join us on our next episode as we dive further into the college planning timeline, as well as discussing some basic college and admissions terms. If you would like to connect with me, you can do so via my website, marcelzay.com, where you can find all of my contact info. Until next time, this has been Zay, your college coach.